The epic poem Savitri builds its universe on a harsh premise. Our physical reality operates on an inconscient plan, a blind, mechanical baseline. We exist as a fragile compromise between the beast we evolved from and the god we might become. In this dense material realm, human life circles a closed loop. We are governed by the strict laws of chance, surrounded by deep ignorance, and marching inevitably toward death. The architect of this vision is the Indian mystic and cullet Sri Aurobindo. Over several decades, he mapped out a sprawling spiritual cosmology. To navigate this cosmology, he introduces a protagonist named Aswapati. Aswapati is a spiritual traveler, a king who looks at the suffering of human existence and simply refuses to accept it as our final state. Aswapati's journey represents the desperate, driving urge within humanity to break out of our physical limitations and pull a higher truth down into the mud of daily life. Aswapati pushes his consciousness past the limits of ordinary human thought. He climbs until he reaches the distant border where the human map ends, a space the poem calls a signless emptiness. Then the emptiness shatters. Through pure, concentrated aspiration, he breaks through the vacancy and encounters the Divine Mother, a force of wisdom transcending the mind. Bearing this presence requires an agonizing internal purification. Aswapati has to systematically hunt down his own ego, tearing desire up from its bleeding roots so the divine light doesn't destroy him. Notice the dense layers of corrections on this 1916 manuscript page. Every line is a struggle for what he called the rhythmic sense of hidden things. This wasn't just editing, it was an attempt to make human language vibrate at a higher frequency. This revision process was a spiritual exercise in itself. Just as Aswapati has to strip away his human self like a translucent cloak to find the god within, Aurobindo spent decades striking through his own mental concepts. He was discarding his drafts to reach a truth that exists beyond common speech. Encountering the unshielded truth of the infinite leaves no room for the self. It requires the complete surrender of human desire, leaving the seeker as an empty vessel. Emptied of his ego, Aswapati experiences a vision of the house of the spirit. This is a realm of unbroken light, deep peace, and immortal harmony. This diagram illustrates how Aurobindo's heaven functions. It operates as a dynamic harmony of opposites, where interacting patterns merge seamlessly. Down on Earth, differences cause friction. Here, they maintain distinct colors, engaging in a sweet strife of love, interacting without collision into a single rotating structure. It is a picture of flawless geometric and spiritual perfection. But the contrast with the chaotic, suffering earth Aswapati left behind is devastating. As he takes in this beauty, Aswapati realizes the terrible catch. This perfect dimension is entirely fenced off from mortal existence. This establishes the central conflict of the epic. Seeing ultimate spiritual perfection is a tragedy as long as it remains separated from the struggling, flawed human reality below. The climax arrives in Canto 4, when a divine voice speaks directly to Aswapati from the heights of the infinite. The voice offers a temptation. Aswapati has won the ultimate spiritual prize. He is invited to stay, to rest his spirit in wide, uncaring bliss. The voice commands him to leave the flawed earth alone. He is told to step aside and let the slow, grinding machinery of cosmic evolution take its natural course over the millennia. But Aswapati defies the voice. He rejects his own solitary escape, refusing to ascend while humanity continues to suffer blindly in the dark. For the true spiritual seeker, personal victory is meaningless if it requires abandoning the rest of the universe. Instead of accepting heaven, Aswapati makes a cosmic demand. He insists that the divine intervene directly, taking physical form to alter the course of human destiny. He asks for all love to throb single in one human heart. He wants the power of eternity packed into a mortal frame to change all future time. And the divine voice consents to his audacious plea. The voice makes a promise. One shall descend. A force will be born to break the iron law of death. This grants the cosmic boon, setting the stage for the incarnation of the goddess Savitri. This mythological triumph is deeply tied to the author himself.
Sri Aurobindo dedicated his life to finishing this text, continuing to dictate expansions to a scribe into the late 1940s, even as his eyesight failed him. It reflects the core of his philosophy. The goal of enlightenment is never to escape the physical world into a heavenly void. The goal is to anchor the divine within matter, rewriting the boundaries of the physical world.